Take heart. You are loved here. Yes, you. Take heart. Lay your burden down. Lay down your grief. Lay down what hard words may be in your heart. You are loved here. Release your heart. Release your happiness. You are loved here. Yes, you. You were loved. And here's what that's like. This is a bit of a visualization, so do what you will with it. You can close your eyes if you wish, but there is a rosebud in your mind's eye. It is fed by the blood of your heart. Each petal opens of its own accord, and the fragrance fills the space in your head and loosens your jaw. There is no need to pry open the rose, only to witness and inhale its fragrance. Take heart, you are loved here. This may dismay you, and you may in fact resist it, but the love for you remains. You may feel unworthy of it, or challenged by it, or even betrayed by it. But the love for you remains. Be at ease. Lay down the burden of your self-concern. Together we are one body, one corpus, and in our collective mind's eye, there is also a rosebud. And this is fed by the circulation of our lives in community. We process through the heart. Knowing that you are loved and knowing that love is engaged with an organic, grace-begotten, individual and communal flourishing may make it easier for you to cultivate a sanguine state of mind, where you are unhurt by life's turbulent flow through unrelenting growth. This state of mind is brought about by finding a certain perspective on things. You see, open to us all, at all times, there is a perspective from which you are a compassionate observer of a process of which you are a part, but a process larger than yourself. From this perspective, when pursued to the edge of your insight, the good is assured. In that perspective is the invitation to liberation from fear and into love. All will be well. A life and process that is larger than your own. In that perspective is the invitation to liberation from fear and into love. From this perspective, when pursued to the edge of your insight, the good is assured, and all will be well. You are loved here. Lay your burdens down. Lay down your pain and suspicion. You are loved here. Now, mistakes made by you or others are not scary or embarrassing or catastrophic, but rather another step in the inevitable flowering of that which is larger than you, which is coming constantly into being all around you. Achievement is also not proprietary. The good you or others do is not yours to lord or envy, but rather to bow to. Here, gratitude, compassion, and equanimity are our imperfect expressions. Now, weeks ago, we recognized all the ministers in the room, which was everyone in the room. The perspective that I just described, wherein you are a compassionate observer of a process of which you are a part, but a process larger than yourself, is a ministerial perspective. It is a kind of perspective that is challenging to achieve, but once there, it feels really easy and open-hearted. It's sort of a warm neutrality, a detached benevolence that is still ready to work and grind and sweat, which we're all doing, without working, and sweat in the name of the larger unfolding, be it communal or cosmic or personal, or what's the difference? It is a perspective from which I operate when I am operating well, which is less often than I like, but more often maybe than it was. And this perspective gives me the sense that these words, every Sunday, the words that you hear, are not my words. They're the words somehow of this perspective. Or maybe they are my words, but they're funneling the meaning that this perspective is moving through me. I hope they are effective, and I work to make them so. And while I'm interested in their effectiveness, in their particular results, so to speak, I am, at my best, not attached to their particular effectiveness. I am interested but not attached, for they are not mine. This perspective is formative of character. It makes an impression on the mind. It causes one to grow in a particular way. Growth is inevitable. So to bring some perspective and intention to it, something that grows in a particular way may serve us well. It gives me faith in what I am growing into, even if I cannot see it clearly, because it is broader than any future. So this is faith in the future based in a perspective on the present. And that keeps things chill at my best. So the deliciously suspicious yet happy among you may at this point be saying to yourselves, is something wrong? You may have the sense that I have been consoling, and consolation is only needed when there is pain. To some extent, your suspicion is true. You see, I assume that pain is a partner to growth in life, and that we are growing inevitably all the time. We all bring that with us wherever we go, especially to church, and some more than others. So consolation can be a constant, and this sermon can apply really any Sunday. However, there is a sense of particularity here too, and this gets into the real twist of church life, and the bottom line is this. Church is a place where people come to grow intentionally. And growth is challenging. You may have come here with spiritually explicit hopes for growth. Or you may have come here to grow your social network. You may have come here because you know what it was like to be in a place that did not want you to grow, which is excruciating because, as we said, growth is inevitable. And so what is resorted to is a poisoning of the blood in your heart that feeds the rose in your mind's eye. You may come here because you needed a sanctuary. You may come here because you need to be fed. You may come here because you needed to be challenged, and all of these reasons result in and are therefore in partnership with invigoration, a bringing of life into body and home. They each express the need for the energy of life. And with invigoration, there is accelerated growth, and with growth. So do you remember the scene in Empire Strikes Back when Luke was in Yoda's hut and he was declaring himself ready to be a Jedi, ready to be trained as a Jedi? And he said to Yoda, "I'm not afraid." Anybody remember what Yoda responded with? You will be. That is growth. We come here to be alive, but invigoration yields growth, and growth means change, and change is scary. Leaving where you were, leaving the structures, the habits, the behaviors that you came to know as you behind, and moving forward with only hope, faith, vision, and promises to guide you causes anxiety. I'm not afraid. You will be. You will be. And you know what? Thank God for that. Thank grace-given human dimension for that, or maybe thank the Force for that. I feel me growing in my role as a minister, and I see you growing in your roles as ministers. I see this church growing in its ministry I see this church growing. And I feel and see the change that is happening and that is coming. And I feel and see the anxiety that is bubbling up and manifesting in speech and behavior, and I am grateful. I am grateful because anxiety is evidence of change and growth and life. Now, it's true that anxiety can be a tar pit. Anxiety can be a black hole. If we allow our focus to shift from the beautiful planet calling us onward to the cosmic darkness of distraction and fear. We will experience anxiety and possibly even pain as we grow. And this is true for us as individuals and as a church. But we must not mistake that anxiety for reality. We must take heart and know that we are loved. We can find our perspective on the process and proceed with compassion and courage, even as we suffer the turbulence of uncertainty and change. All will be well. Anxiety is evidence of change, and change is evidence of invigoration. In fact, it may well be that anxiety is necessary for growth. It may be that to become Jedi, we must move through fear. And that fear, in fact, is our opportunity. Anxiety is a window painted black, but it is a window. We cannot see through it and feel closed in by it, but we also know that we have faith and hope and promise each other that beyond that window, for it is a window, not a wall, beyond that window is a land, is a life, and a church where the sense of spiritual flourishing and equanimity abound. To experience flourishing and equanimity, then, one must pass through the window. One must pass through anxiety. And it can be passed through when we welcome it. When we learn to identify it, then it becomes our opportunity. And we will court this opportunity, for we invite life. We invite growth. And when its pain arrives, we will embrace it as an opportunity for work, as an opportunity to move through it, beyond it, and establish a new reality of flourishing spirit and equanimity. We welcome our anxiety as an alert to draw attention to our fears. So we will find strength to persevere and flourish from two sources, I imagine. One is the knowledge that you are loved and act in a loving way. And two is a perspective wherein you are a compassionate observer of a process of which you are a part, but which is larger than yourself. From this perspective, the good is assured, and all will be well. With these two insights as guides and guardians, we are capable of growing through personal and corporate anxiety and flourishing. We are enabled to go boldly into the unknown, which, of course, reminds me of another reference from the world of science fiction, the opening lines to Star Trek. I have adapted these for our own use, as you will see. And so I leave you with this. Spirit, the ultimate frontier. These are the voyages of the soul ship Mountain Vista. Its mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life by welcoming, caring for, and inspiring those within and beyond our body, to boldly go where we are ever bound to go, which is where none of us has ever been before. Engage.